Yo, what's up, boys? Today is September 22nd, 2025. I took this trade today. Honestly, it was honestly a very clean setup. Everything that I wanted to happen occurred. So let me just start off with my bias. So my bias today was very simple. I had a bullish bias. Um, it just looked like price was respecting overall bullish order flow, whether that was a 2 hour bullish gap, then a I don't know exactly, but you know what? I do actually. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so let me just repeat myself. Today is September 22nd, 2025. It's a Monday. It was a no news Monday, so I wanted to be kind of uh, risk averse. I didn't want to take too much risk in the sense of I wanted to make sure that if I was gonna take a setup and I was gonna take a trade, it was gonna be something that I was very confident on. If not, I would have just been okay not taking a trade today. So let me just get straight into it. My daily bias, to be specific, bullish but with caution. Higher time frame order flow, favoring upside continuation. That includes a weekly and daily bullish S&T, plus a lot of bullish gaps being respected. Though intraday bearish gaps suggested a possible dip before another leg higher. So what I basically wrote down was number one, price can either retrace into London lows and swoop back up, which that is because price hadn't swept London lows nor London highs yet, or price would go up to London highs and continue higher and try to get a continuation model long. That and number one, the fact that we were at all-time highs, it's really just it, to put it very simple, it's like when you're at something like all-time highs, it's really bullish until proven not. You know, plus all the other confluences that I had. If anything, let's go to replay mode. Let's start off. Okay. To put it very simple, you have London lows and London highs. So essentially, what I wanted to happen was price either tap into London highs or London lows. To be honest, preferably London lows, but I didn't mind if we went up to London highs and get a continuation model higher. I didn't necessarily expect price to have to hit London lows, just due to the fact that we are at all-time highs. I wasn't surprised that price would just go up and continue up. So just to okay, right here. So we tapped into this 5 minute gap, boom, right there, tapped into it, respected it clearly. Um, Went down to the 1 minute, had this bearish gap here, Okay, let's see if we had. So with the model that I take the highest time frame inversion. So that means that whatever's the highest time frame with a, let's say in this case, a bearish fair value gap, I would want that to get inversed. So let's see, 5 minute, nope. 4 minute, nope. 3 minute, nope. 2 minute, nope. 1 minute. Yeah. So the 1 minute had a bearish gap. I waited till price obviously closed above this bearish gap, so it would technically be considered an inverse. And yeah, I was honestly very, very not excited. I think the word would be like I was very confident in this trade due to the fact that number one, we respected this. We've just been respecting bullish order flow in general. Um, Creating this right here, creating this bullish gap on the 1 minute as well. I wasn't I wasn't necessarily scared if price were to dip down a bit, just due to the fact that, we do have this bullish gap kind of protecting this area. So I was expecting for price to possibly go down here for a bit, or at least tap into this bullish gap and then, you know, straight back up. But let's see. So price did close. I did have a limit order on where this inverse fair value gap, I guess, would start, um, or where the this bearish gap starts. So I think I said that in my last video, but I usually create a limit order within that area. Why? Number one, I like to be a lot more mechanical within my trading in that term. I like to, how do I say? I like to have, like I said, a limit order, and to me, it just feels a bit more mechanical. I have certain steps that I wait for, and then I just have a limit order. And I understand that some people, let's say in this occasion, if price were to just close here and then just continue higher without tapping into my limit order, sometimes that happens. Sometimes just price runs away. That's completely fine. But for me, number one, because of that, I like it a lot more mechanical. And number two, I've seen certain situations, and let's say price closes over here, right? I would technically have to take that market order right there. So then I would have to have my stop technically at the swing low, because that's according to my rules in my entry. And then if I want at least a 1-to-1, it'd be like that. And I have seen occasions in which within this scenario, within this limit order scenario, price wicks into that 1-to-1 TP and then just swoops back down. Hold up. Okay, yeah. What was I saying? So I've seen scenarios in which price taps into this limit order, wicks into my TP, which would usually be a 1-to-1, and then just goes straight back down to stop loss. So what I want that in which it just what I want this situation in which I feel it's a lot safer, or this where your risk to reward is a lot, it's not higher at all. It's just a lot wonkier compared to how I usually do it. Because in this situation, like, technically, if I wanted a 1-to-1, price, I guess this is maybe superstition, but not really. I just think sometimes this is how the market might work. I understand that other people have different ways. That's completely understandable. But what I'm, I guess, trying to say is this would be the beginning of this structure, not necessarily here. I would believe that this would be the beginning of it. So, and might as well, if I have a limit order here, it's because I'm expecting price to go back down. So I would much rather just wait until price taps into this. That's horrible. I would rather wait until price taps into this area than have to enter here, wait for price to be in drawdown, and then hopefully price coming back up. So I guess that's just my opinion. I understand that a lot of other traders wouldn't agree with what I do, but that's I don't mind. Like, just different strokes for different folks. Um, and yeah, so tapped into that 5 minute bullish gap. Boom, 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 TP. So I am okay. I did expect price also to tap into previous day high. That's good to see. So I guess today was very concrete in what I believed was going to happen, and price seems to be shooting back up a bit. I feel like I'm not going to say I know what I'm doing now, not at the slightest, and I feel like I'm probably never going to know exactly what I'm doing, but I think it's really just following my rules, um, and just being mechanical while also following this technically discretionary model. Um, we'll see how it goes. As of today, went pretty well. Tomorrow cannot go well, and so forth. But what I do know is statistically, I think I have this written down. I had written like an equation down. It's essentially probability equals number of favorable outcomes over the total number of outcomes. I understand that within my strategy, within my strategy, back tested and analyzed with time and time, just full of data essentially. Um, I know that within the long run, although there might be certain slumps, or there might be certain stumps. I think that's like the pronunciation. There might be certain stumps within that trading journey, but within the long run, it would be profitable because I've back tested it, I've studied it, and this isn't something that only I'm taking. I didn't reinvent the wheel. This is something that many other people who trade and that do this for a living, this is exactly what they do on a daily basis, and they have a proven track record of being profitable within the long run. And the what I like about this strategy necessarily is the fact that when I finish trading on the day, most of the time, a lot of the traders that trade the similar strategy to mine, they usually post a video where it's like, okay, this is how I made X amount, this is how I lost X amount, and it usually matches up to the trade that I took. So this is what I like a lot about this concept and strategy that I'm working on, that I'm trading, and it's really just the fact that it's kind of not universal, but it's something that many people, especially many people who are profitable, it's something which they trade. So I guess I was really tired of just finding something that felt like, although really mechanical, felt very discretionary as well. And I feel like although this is technically a discretionary model, discretionary concept, there's a lot of mechanical aspects to it. And it shows due to the fact that many other people, many other big um, traders and I guess influencers are taking these exact or similar trades to me. So I guess that's really it. I'm gonna include a video of me taking the trade live. It's very fast, it's very cut up, but it kind of shows how I kind of look or how I kind of feel throughout the trade itself. A lot of people get very nervous, start looking at the screen. Some people even start praying. And I'm not saying that praying is bad, but the truth is the market is going to want to go wherever it wants to go. And no amount of external force can necessarily dictate or change this direction. You know, I'm a big believer in God, but I don't necessarily try to mix something like that with this because this is very statistical and it's very analytical, and you know, I wouldn't want to try to include a faith into this besides, like overall success in life, but I wouldn't want to add faith into something like this because then you're kind of just backing your strategy with, hope. And I wish that were the case. I wish I can back a strategy with hope, but that's not how it works, at least here in the market. It's not how it works. And, you know, it's very straightforward. I think for a lot of time I overcomplicated what I was doing, and then I realized that it's not as hard as I thought it was. Maybe maybe there are certain moments in where you have a losing streak or you're just not doing things correctly. But the truth is, if you follow your rules and you keep up with a very, very strict regimen in terms of discipline and how you trade, trading once a day, at least in my opinion, trading once a day, you know, journaling like this, recording everything, I feel like that benefits me. And hopefully I can look at this within the long run and, kind of be proud of that moment in which I feel like a lot of bigger traders go through. And that's just taking this time where you're just eating shit for a bit and just studying and doing things like this, talking to a laptop. I don't mind that. So to kind of like end this, I'm gonna keep doing this. I might lose tomorrow, and that's completely fine. I'm gonna keep up with my discipline. I'm gonna keep up with my rules, and as long as I do that, I'm okay within the long run. So, so I'm gonna end that video there. But just to mark it out, today is September 22nd, 2025. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for watching. If you haven't, please subscribe, leave a like, and yeah, peace.